Hello everyone, this is Miss Rowe reading 10 in a Bed by Allan Ahlberg and Amstutz. Let's start with a blurb on the back. One night, Dinah Price goes upstairs and finds 3 grumbly bears in her bed. To her astonishment, they refuse to budge until she's told them a bedtime story. Now this is a chapter book, but I promise I'll show you all of the pictures. 10 in a Bed. Chapter 1. Too many bears. One evening, a little girl named Dinah Price kissed her mom and dad goodnight, climbed the stairs, went into her room, and found 3 bears in her bed. These bears were a father bear, a mother bear, and a baby bear. They were lying side by side, with the baby bear in the middle. They appeared to be sleeping. Dinah Price knew a little bit about bears. When she was an even littler girl, her mum used to tell her a story about some bears and the trouble they had with another little girl named Goldilocks. So Dinah went up to the bed with the bears in it and said, "Who's this sleeping in my bed?" Straight away, the bears opened their eyes and shouted, "Us!" And they laughed, all 3 of them. They were only pretending to be asleep. Dinah Price stood at the foot of the bed and looked at the bears. The evening sunlight was shining into the room. Through the open window came the sound of a lawnmower. The next-door neighbor was cutting his grass. The bears lay in the bed and looked at Dinah Price. From time to time, they gave each other a little nudge and smiled. They did not seem embarrassed to be in somebody else's bed. They showed no signs of leaving. "What are you doing here?" said Dinah.
"Resting,"
said Father Bear. "But how did you get in?"
"That would be telling. Maybe we climbed up the drain pipe."
"Or down the chimney," said the Mother Bear. "Like Santa Claus," the Baby Bear said. "There isn't a chimney," said Dinah. "We've got central heating." At that moment, through the open window, came the chimes of an ice cream van. The little baby bear's eyes lit up. "Can we go home now?" "No," said the Mother Bear. "We've only just got here." Then, in a whisper to Dinah, she added, "Take no notice. What he really wants is an ice cream." "What are you whispering about?" said the baby bear. And he said, "Can I have an ice cream?" "Wait and see," said the Mother Bear. Dinah Price thought for a minute. She would not have minded an ice cream herself. She said, "But shouldn't you be going home anyway? It's bedtime."
"That's no problem,"
said Father Bear.
"We're in bed."
"Yes, but it's not yours, it's mine. And I have to go to sleep. I'll get in trouble if I don't."
"That's too bad,"
said Father Bear.
"We like it here."
"It's comfy," the Mother Bear said. The baby bear knelt up in bed and whispered in his mother's ear. For the first time, Dinah noticed he had her woolly duck in the bed with him. He must have taken it from the toy box. The Mother Bear nodded and smiled. Then Baby Bear turned to Dinah. "My mum says you could tell us a story."
"A story?"
Dinah frowned. "You want me to tell you a story?" "That's the idea," said the Mother Bear. Dinah Price thought for a minute. "If I did tell you a story, would you promise to go home then? To your own beds?" For a moment there was silence. The bears looked at each other. The baby bear whispered in his mother's ear again, and then his father's. After that, all 3 of them spoke at once. "Yes, that's fair enough. It's a promise." So Dinah Price pulled up her stool, picked up a book from her bedside table and began to read. Well, the truth is, she pretended to read, for she was making the story up. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears. Heard it already? Said the baby bear. No, you haven't, said Dinah. This is a different one. Listen. And this is the story she told. Once upon a time, there were 3 bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear. That's me, the baby bear said. One was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great, huge bear. One day, these bears were out walking. They came to a neat little house on the edge of the wood. It had a red roof, yellow curtains, and roses round the door. It was a girl named Goldilocks' house. She's a little madam, that one, Mother Bear said. Well, the bears came up to the house and peeped through the window. Goldilocks was out. She had gone to play and have tea at her friend's house. So the bears opened the door and went in. They went down the hall and into the kitchen. There on the table was a delicious bowl of pineapple jelly, which Goldilocks was saving for her tea.
You said she was having tea at her friend's house,
The father bear said. Well, supper then. Anyway, there was the jelly. So first, the great huge bear tasted it, but it was too sweet for him. Then, the middle-sized bear tasted it, but it was too wobbly. I like it wobbly, said the mother bear. Then, the little small wee bear tasted the jelly, and for him, it was neither too sweet nor too wobbly, but just right. So he ate it all up. Lovely! The baby bear clapped his paws. I want a drink of water.
No, you don't, said the father bear. You have just had all of that jelly.
And never even gave your poor old mother a lick of the spoon, the mother bear said. Next, the bears went upstairs to Goldilocks' bedroom.
By this time, all 3 of them were feeling tired from their walk.
Also, they were quite cheeky bears, as you can see, so they got into the bed and went to sleep. Then, this is the exciting part, then Goldilocks came back.
From her friend's house,
The father bear said. That's it. Well, when Goldilocks saw the front door open, she said, Wow, somebody's been at my front door and left it open. When she saw an empty bowl on the kitchen table, she said, Wow, somebody has been at my pineapple jelly and eaten it all up. Ha ha, said the baby bear. When she went upstairs and saw the bears in her bed, she said, Wow, somebody has been sleeping in my bed and they're still in it.
Serves her right,
The father bear said. And then baby bear said, Then what did she do? She thought for a minute, said Dinah, who was herself thinking for a minute. She thought for a minute and said, Who's this sleeping in my bed? And the bears woke up and they said, Us. Weren't they only pretending to be asleep? Said the baby bear. No, they were really asleep. So then Goldilocks gave the 3 bears a good talking to. She said they had no business being in her house, eating her pineapple jelly, and sleeping in her bed. She's got a nerve, said the mother bear. Then the bears promised to leave if only Goldilocks would tell them a story. So she did. She told them a story, and they listened and said, Thank you very much. After that, they went home, because a promise is a promise. They went home and... Wait a minute, the baby bear said. What was the story she told? I don't remember. Anyway, that's another story. I bet I know what it was, said the mother bear. She began to smile.
I bet it was like this. Once upon a time there were 3 bears.
Then the little small wee one said he'd heard it already. I have heard it already, said the baby bear. And the father bear said,
My head is spinning. How many bears do we have now?
Then the 3 bears went out for a walk, said the mother bear, and came to Goldilocks' house and went inside and ate her pineapple jelly. Only the little small wee bear ate all the jelly, said the baby bear. No, they all ate it this time, said the mother bear. In fact, come to think of it, the middle-sized bear ate most of it. Well, they ate the jelly and went upstairs for a lie-down, and Goldilocks came back and found them there and told them to clear off out of it, said Dinah, who was getting impatient. No, she didn't, said the baby bear. Yes, she did. She said, You bears get out of here or I will fetch my daddy, who is a hunter. A hunter? The baby bear looked puzzled. What's a hunter? Don't answer that, whispered the mother bear. We haven't told him about the hunters yet. He's too young. What are you whispering about? Said the baby bear. And he said, What is a hunter? A man, the mother bear said. A man who cuts the trees down. That's a woodcutter. The mother bear turned to Dinah. Go on with the story. Right, said Dinah. So anyway, Goldilocks told the 3 bears about her daddy and his gun, and that was enough for them. What's a gun? Baby bear asked. Don't answer that, mother bear said. That was enough for them, said Dinah. They wasted no time, but jumped out of the bed, out of the window, and ran off through the woods to their own houses, their own pineapple jelly, and their own beds. The end. At this point, Dinah slamming the book shut, startling the father bear, who'd been dozing off. The mother bear sat up in bed.
That wasn't a bad story.
She yawned and stretched, except for the last part. Dinah Price stood up and put the book on her bedside table. It was darker in the room now. A smell of cut grass was coming through the open window. The noise of the mower had stopped. In a tree outside the window, birds were twittering. Downstairs, the phone began to ring. Was Goldilocks' father really a you-know-what? The mother bear said. What's a you-know-what? Said the baby bear. Yes, he was. Dinah could feel her feet getting cold inside her slippers. He was a terror. And she said, Are you going home now? Certainly, said the mother bear. And the father bear said,
We can take a hint.
The 3 bears clambered out of the bed. The father bear and the mother bear tidied the bedclothes and plumped up the pillow. Do you have far to go? Dinah asked. That would be telling, the mother bear said.
It could be miles and miles. Or just down the road,
the father bear said. Then Dinah spotted the baby bear. He was trying to sneak off with her woolly duck. Luckily, the mother bear spotted him too. She made him give it back. After that, the 3 bears climbed out on the window ledge, said goodbye to Dinah Price, went down the drain pipe and across the grass, waved goodbye to Dinah, who was watching them go, and disappeared into the rhododendron bushes at the far end of the garden. The last words Dinah could heard was the baby bear halfway down the drain pipe saying, "Can we have pineapple jelly when we get home?" And his mother's reply,
"Wait and see."
Dinah Price shut the window and pulled the curtains across. She said to herself,
"I will tell my friend about this tomorrow."
After that, she got into the bed, still warm from the bears, and slept till morning. And that is the end of chapter 1.